Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello, and welcome to another Saturday morning of Entertainment Hour, sponsored by Coast to Coast Network. Wow, I can't think today. I'm Dragon Viper, your host, alongside my co-host, Chris P. Bacon. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Glad to be back and talking to some great actors and actresses and great TV shows.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, we will be talking about some actors and actresses, like he had said. And we're actually gonna have a bonus actor today too. So this should be fun.
It should, yeah.
All right. So the first actor that we're gonna be talking about, I know we didn't have a live show last week, but we did mention 2 weeks ago that, go ahead and send in, a list of actors and actresses or what, of what you want to hear. Well, we did get a couple actors and actresses that were sent to us, names. So the actor that we got was Daniel Stern. Now, Daniel Stern, he's kind of a funny guy. I mean, he's not one of the funniest, but he is funny in a few of his movies. So I'm going to start off with top 3 good Daniel Stern movies. And what would your top 3 be, Chris?
My top 3 would have to be Dinner, One Trick Pony, and Breaking Away. Sorry.
Wow, really? Those are your top 3, huh? Not bad. I'm actually surprised you didn't end up with what I end up with, and one of them, and that was Home Alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Home Alone. That's a lot of people's favorite with him in it. I mean, especially when you grew up in the 90s. I mean, Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci. Yeah. I mean, great movie 1 and 2. I mean, it's been discussed about before with Home Alone under different topics. With them making more movies out of that title and but when you're talking about Home Alone, you're talking about 1 and 2. So and William made a comment and says, Home Alone, yeah, absolutely, William. And welcome. I can't even talk today, so I apologize. But anyway, welcome, William, for watching the show. But yes, Home Alone 1 and 2, and this goes along with my top 3, good movies that I like from him. Also, Bushwhacked and Rookie of the Year. I mean, I really enjoyed him in those movies. Bushwhacked I haven't seen for a while, but I remember some. I remember some of that movie. So, and I thought he was really good in what I remember. And of course, Rookie of the Year. I normally watch that, off and on throughout the year. Anyway. But yeah, he was really good in it. And now we're going to go for the top 3 bad. Now, I've watched probably, I want to say 8 or 9 Daniel Stern movies, because honestly, I'm not a real big fan of his. I mean, I think he's funny, but I'm not a real big fan. So I've watched just enough to be able to do this list. But for my top 3 bad, I would have to say City Slickers 1 and 2. Now, that might be an unpopular decision right there, because I know our viewers probably like those movies, but I didn't really care for it. I mean, Billy Crystal, he was good in it, but Daniel Stern, I don't know. I didn't really care for it much. Whip It, which I happened to watch that movie once, didn't care for it, stopped watching it. And Little Monsters. Let's see. And Little Monsters, I haven't seen that in quite a long time, but you know, I from what I do remember, I didn't really care for him in that movie. William Hudson says, Dragon, who are you a big fan of? I'm a big fan of a lot of actors, but just not so much of Daniel Stern. So, like I said, he is funny. I mean, I kind of like him, but he's just not one that I will watch, and he's not why I would watch Home Alone or Rookie of the Year. So, anyway, Chris, what is your top 3 bad?
My top 3 bad would have to be Christmas Story 2, Whip It, and Banshees.
Okay, yeah, Whip It was just it was a terrible movie altogether. I didn't really care for it, and so now here's the top 10 movies of Daniel Stern. And William Hudson says Rookie of the Year was great back then. You know what? I'll be 37 in a couple weeks, and I still think that Rookie of the Year is great. So I mean, it was great back then. I still think it is to this day. I mean, and anybody that likes baseball, and likes baseball movies, I'm sure that's that movie's within their top 5, if not 10. So, all right, top 10 Daniel Stern movies. Number 10, Stardust Memories. Number 9, Bushwhacked. Number 8, Little Monsters. Number 7, Rookie of the Year. Number 6, Breaking Away. Number 5, My Blue Heaven. Number 4, Home Alone 2. Number 3, City Slickers. Number 2, Home Alone. And number 1, Whip It. I don't understand how that's number 1.
Can we reverse put Whip It in number 11?
Yeah.
I'm okay with Home Alone being, I guess, top 3.
Yeah. No. Home Alone, and Home Alone 2 definitely top 3.
You could throw Home Alone 1 or 2 in the top 1 or 2, and
there you go. Especially,
I don't care which one, but
I mean, okay. Now I have a question. Which one did you like more, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
I like the first Home Alone. I mean, normally the first Home Alones are not first Home Alones. The first edition of a movie, if they're gonna do a remake or a sequel, are usually the best ones.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with my favorite, I'd really have to go with Home Alone. I mean, it's a toss up. I like them both almost equally, but if I were to choose one, it'd be Home Alone. And William Hudson says, I didn't know Stern was in that many movies, honestly. I looked it up earlier, William, and between TV shows and movies, he's been in 77 programs. So whether program is TV, movie, 77 programs, which I didn't even know till I looked it up.
He's been in more TV shows than he has movies.
Yeah, he has. And so it's kind of like, I didn't expect him to be in that many, programs, but yeah, I had no idea either. And here's something interesting. Now, one of our viewers last time mentioned about doing Daniel Stern. Okay, normally when I do actors, actresses, TV shows, no matter what we do, we look up some facts about these topics. Well, here's something interesting: is the fact that there's really nothing on him. I mean, he's been in 77 programs. I don't remember how old he is, but he's pretty up there in age, probably like close to his 60s. And yet there's really no real facts about him. So, I mean, the only fact I was able to find for those that, would watch Wonder Years, that's actually his voice being the narrator. So he had the voiceover narration for Wonder Years. Other than that, there really weren't any, important, interesting facts about him, let alone facts at all. So, that's crazy. Normally, you're starring in so many shows that, you've got to have some kind of facts out there, like, oh, this person didn't, take this acting role, or, this person had this something like that. But there was absolutely no facts that I could find. So,
it's kind of hard to find different information on him.
Yeah. So, let's see. So we're going to go ahead and move on, unless, Chris, you have something else about him.
I don't know.
Okay. And then we're going to go on to our bonus actor, which would end up being Owen Wilson. Now, he was a little easier to, deal with. And a viewer went and, mentioned Owen Wilson. So, and I'm going to say now, I don't really care about him. I think his acting. I think he tries too hard to be an actor. I have a top 3, movie list that I like. But all in all, I don't know. I think I think he tries too hard or something. It's just, I don't know. He irritates me and rubs me the wrong way somehow. But I went ahead and did it anyway. Did this anyways. So, anyway, go ahead, Chris. What are your top 3 good movies from him?
It was really hard, to choose 3 good movies. But I would have to say Wander, Night at the Museum, the first one, and Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, the good old Wedding Crashers. That's a good list. And then I'd have to say my top 3 is Wedding Crashers. Come on, Wedding Crashers is awesome, and as much as he irritates the crap out of me, he's really good in it. Armageddon was another one, and Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents was good. I kind of remember that one.
Yeah, he was the female's ex-fiance before Ben Stiller. So, yeah. And then the top 3 bad list, I'd have to go with Zoolander, The Cable Guy, and Drillbit Taylor. And, I don't know if William is still watching right now, but William, and I know Big B's going to watch this. I'm going to say this right now and put it on record that I think Owen Wilson is about as irritating as Matt Riddle. I think he's as irritating and aggravating as Matt Riddle. So
I just want Goldberg.
No, I like Goldberg, unlike someone else we know. But And we have Joe Kuntz in here. Thank you for watching, Joe. He says the famous Dragon Viper. Yeah, well, I really don't know if I'm famous, but I'm something, all right. And then William Hudson says Armageddon was incredible. I love the movie. I absolutely love the movie. He did okay in that movie, but I still think he's irritating. And William says, "Oh wow, straight heel comment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm known to be a straight heel. When it comes to my decisions and opinions. I finally put a face to the name. Well, yeah, that is true. This me, Randy Dragon Viper. So anyway, Chris, was your top 3 bad movies from Owen Wilson?
If I had to put an honorable mention in a good list, it'll probably be Starsky and Hutch. But I don't know. My top 3 bad would have to be I Spy, Zoolander, and As Good as It Gets.
That's a good top 3 bad, especially Zoolander. Oh man, I don't know what they were thinking when they even made that movie, honestly. I don't know. I mean, they had a good point behind it. They really did, but
I didn't know there was a point.
There's a point. Well, there's a point behind that movie, and that just means that, well, there's a point. I can't think of it right now. I've been up almost 24 hours, so I can't think of it right now. But anyway, they had a good point in that movie, but the way they presented it was just absolutely dumb. So,
Dumb and Dumber. I'm just playing.
Hey, now I like that movie. So, all right, we have a top 10 list for Owen Wilson movies. Number 10, Wedding Crashers. Number 9, Cars. Number 8, Shanghai Noon. Number 7, The Royal Tenenbaums. Number 6, Meet the Parents. Number 5, Bottle Rocket. Number 4, Wonder. Number 3, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Number 2, Fantastic Mr. Fox. And number 1, Midnight in Paris.
I like Cars. I would probably. I don't know. I don't know who you'd flip, but you'd flip one of them for Cars, maybe in 6 through 10, or 6 through 9, I should say.
No, I like the movie. It could be the fact that Owen Wilson's voice irritates me. So, because I watch Cars going, man, can we have somebody else but Owen Wilson playing the red car? But yeah, the only thing I would have to say is Wedding Crashers being number 10. I disagree. It should have been in the top 5. So, but anyway, here's a few facts about Owen Wilson. He was making the movie The Haunting, and he actually ended up cutting his chin and got stitches for it. I guess he was playing this part on there and fighting with a candlestick, and somehow ended up cutting his chin. So yeah, he ended up with stitches. He would rather be a writer than an actor, as he feels happier writing. Well, that I didn't know. If he had a choice, he would never have acted, which would make me happy, but but he never would have acted. He wanted to be a writer. He always wanted to write. He did write a few Wes Anderson movies. He did co-write it. but he would rather not act. He didn't want to. He doesn't have the the patience to want to act and the passion. That's where I was going with that. The passion to act. But he's probably a good writer. Maybe I could tolerate something what he writes. But
Right.
William Hudson says Drillbit Taylor was good. Sorry, William, I disagree with you.
Why don't you like it, Dragon Viper?
I
Again,
don't
Owen
know.
Wilson.
Owen Wilson beating up a kid, I believe that was on that movie. And I don't know. It's Owen Wilson. Now here's something that some people may or may not know. Most lines in his movies, he actually ad-libs them. They would write a script, but instead he'd go off of what he felt needed to be said. So most of his movies, he's not really scripted in them. Which must be a really good actor if you can do that.
Sometimes it just comes off better, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the producers and writers have one way a movie would go, and then all of a sudden the next way, the way you ad lib, they're like, oh, I actually like that. Okay, let's do it this way. So, but most of his lines in his movies are ad libbed. Now, the reason his nose looks like it does, and I do mock it. I do. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. It's because his nose has been broken twice, both times while playing high school football. That'd be terrible to have your nose broken twice doing the same thing. But
I'd rather have I don't play football, never have, but I guess a broken nose is better than some other, like an arm or leg being broke.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when I played football, I didn't get injured. So, and I was on the line tackling people. So,
how'd you manage that? It's hard not to get injured when you're down and protecting the quarterback.
I don't know, but I wasn't letting anybody take me down. So I played offensive and defensive guard and tackle on the line, and I never got injured. So
Wow.
I was actually fortunate in that. Unfortunately, though, that's why Wilson's nose looks like it does. And then Owen Wilson is actually in 13 movies with Ben Stiller. So
wasn't one of them Night at the Museum?
Yeah, Night at the Museum, Meet the Parents, all of the Meet the Parents movies. And then there were a few others that he was in with Ben Stiller. So and then Owen and his brother Luke Wilson, who I do like Luke Wilson. I really do. So I think he's a good actor. He doesn't irritate me. But Owen and Luke were originally supposed to play the Malloy brothers in Ocean's 11, but Owen dropped out, Owen.
You wish he dropped out.
I've got wrestling on my head or something. Owen Wilson. That's where I was going. Owen Wilson. I was thinking Owen Hart or Kevin Owens, but again, that's wrestling. Anyway, Owen Wilson dropped out so that he could make the movie The Royal Tenenbaums, which I've never seen that movie, so I don't even know. Let's see. He actually, and to this day, he still does have suicidal depression issues.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of it.
Yeah, in '07, I guess he attempted suicide, so he was taken to a hospital for it.
I
But
remember that. Yeah.
I mean, I as irritated as I am at him, I do not wish anything like that on anybody. And
Right.
I haven't seen anything lately on him about that, but I'm hoping he's getting the help that he needs because honestly, we do not need another Robin Williams. So, as irritating as he is, I hope he gets help if he hasn't already, because we don't want to see another actor go.
We may get frustrated or irritated with actors or wrestlers or whoever it is, but we don't wish death, ill will, or whatever. So
No. So
it just bugs us.
yeah, I did come out just a few minutes ago and said I hated or didn't hate, but I didn't care for Owen Wilson, but on on a reality side of all of it, I hope that he is getting the help that he needs, if or he ends up getting it.
Yeah.
Here's another fact. Owen's dad brought Monty Python's Flying Circus to American TV, which I didn't know. I mean, his dad was involved with bringing it to American TV. So, I mean, for those that watch Monty Python, that's because of Owen Wilson's dad. And then the last thing on Owen Wilson before we move on, he was planning on actually joining the Marine Corps. But he had just filmed Bottle Rocket, and so he made he said that if Bottle Rocket wasn't successful, he was actually going to join the Marine Corps. So obviously he didn't join, so obviously that movie did well.
And plus, I know he's going through a bunch of stuff, but I don't know if that'd be a good idea. Knowing what we know now about him.
Marine Corps?
Yeah.
No, that was years ago. I don't remember what year, but Bottle Rocket was years ago. Okay. It was actually back in 96. So, I mean, maybe him acting is causing his depression and all that, maybe.
Okay.
But
maybe he just needs to stick with writing, like get out of the acting scene and just be a writer.
Yeah, I think that's what he needs.
That's where he's more happiest. So
yeah, well, he just might. Is there anything else on him before we move on to our actress?
No, I think we covered all of it.
Okay. Now we're going to be talking about Brittany Murphy. God rest her soul. I mean, she's been gone since December 20th of 2009.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's already been. Yeah, it's already been 12 years, man. So.
The last movie she was in 14.
No, it's a movie that, and I looked that up, in 2010 and 2014, she was in those movies, but it was before she passed away. They just decided to put those out later.
Okay.
But she passed away December 20th of 2009. So, anyway, she was a really good actress. I really liked her in movies and TV shows, and I mean, of course, like every actor and actress, there are good and bad movies that she played in. So, Chris, what is your top 3 good movies from her?
Top 3 would have to be Happy Feet, Uptown Girls, and writing it. No, Don't Say a Word.
Yeah, actually, I thought that was a good movie. Well, kind of good movie. And Lou says, "Hey guys, hey Lou, how are you today? I hope you enjoy the show." Now my top 3 good movies for Brittany Murphy. I had to put her number 1 as 8 Mile. You know, she did well in that movie. You know, especially working alongside Eminem, and I can almost guarantee it's probably kind of difficult to work with Eminem. I could imagine. Now, if that's true, I don't know, but I could imagine working alongside Eminem is kind of hard to do. So,
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
but yeah, so 8 Mile, Just Married, and I was on the fence for this one. But number 3 on the good movies is Girl Interrupted. I was kind of on the fence whether if it was good or not. But the behind the aspect of the movie made it what was good. And she did a great job with her role in that movie. So, anyway, so that's my top 3 good. Top 3 bad. Riding in Cars with Boys. Well, that's kind of like a girl movie anyway, so I don't know why I was watching it. Little Black Book, and again, I was on the fence with this one. Don't Say a Word. I couldn't decide whether if it was a good one or a bad one. You know, it was hard for me to decide, but I just put it in my bad list. What would your top 3 bad be?
My top 3 bad would be Clueless, Don't Say a Word, and Cherry Falls.
So Don't Say a Word was good and bad for you?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was good. Girl Interrupted.
Yeah. I don't know. Girl Interrupted, it kind of bugged me. But it, like I said, behind the movie, and she did a great job in that movie. Yeah, I don't know. There's a song in that movie, and every time I hear it come on the radio, it kind of gives me shivers because it was a bad part in that movie that still I don't know. It bugs me sometimes. Anyways, so the top 10 Brittany Murphy movies are 10 David and Lisa, 9 Spun, 8 Freeway, 7 Clueless, 6 Drive, 5 8 Mile, 4 Futurama, The Beast with a Billion Backs, which I didn't know that was a movie. 3 Common Ground, 2 Girl Interrupted, and 1 Sin City. I don't know why 8 Mile would be in number 5, honestly.
You're like, boycott the list.
Yeah, I'm boycotting that list. I mean, 8 Mile needs to be up there before 5. And although I did read about the movie Spun, I hadn't seen that movie, but I did read that after she did that movie, she actually got a job as a pole dancer, or got offered for a job as one. So, must have been a good movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I would put 8 Mile definitely ahead of Futurama. I don't really care for Futurama much, so definitely put 8 Mile up there. I mean, do you disagree with this list? Or are you about right there? Or?
I mean, for the most part, except for the 8 Mile one, you know, being where it's at. But other than that, I'm okay with the list.
Okay, cool. All right, and here's some facts about her. She was supposed to be in a biopic about Janis Joplin. The movie was stopped due to battles for the rights to songs, so they couldn't even get the rights to Janis Joplin songs to do the movie, so they had to stop the movie, making the movie. She actually beat out Courtney Love and Emily Watson as Janis Joplin. So she was actually going to play Janis Joplin, and it surprises me because she even beat out Courtney Love. And Courtney Love, well, one thing I didn't mention or write down that I did read was Brittany Wilson. Brittany Wilson was actually, or Brittany Murphy. I'm sorry, wrong Brittany. Brittany Murphy was actually in her own band in the '90s, so I guess she could have done it too alongside Courtney Love. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that she almost was in a Janis Joplin bio movie. I don't know how, because it didn't say how, but she did end up breaking her nose 3 times and reset it each time herself. So every time she broke her nose, she would reset it herself and then go on.
Huh.
So I thought that's kind of interesting.
Wow.
You would think the nose would be very, very painful. I've been hit in the nose, and it is very painful to get hit there. So when you break your nose, you could, I can't imagine how much pain that would be. And then having to reset your own nose so that it's not broken. So painful.
Yeah, that does sound really, really painful.
She bought a house from Britney Spears and kept some of the furniture. So that's interesting. Now, here's something interesting. Another interesting fact that I found. Okay, so you'd have to think that Brittany Murphy was about, I don't know, mid to late, about mid-20s, almost late 20s, when she was in the movie 8 Mile. So what I found out was Eminem actually taught her how to give the finger.
The middle finger?
Yes.
Really?
I was like, wait, what? So
Here, let me show you.
So up until 8 Mile, she did not know how to do it. She did not know how to flip somebody off, which you would think that, I mean, she would learn that. Yeah, you think she would know that as a teenager.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, no, she had no idea how to flip someone off until hanging around Eminem and being on the movie 8 Mile. Which on the movie he does flip someone off.
I'd like to give credit to Eminem
for teaching me how to flip someone off. Woohoo! So anyway, that's all I've got on her. Again, it was sad to see her go. She was only 32 when she died.
How old?
32.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm, like I said earlier, I'll be 37 in a couple weeks. And so I definitely outlived her. but you know, she was kind of troubled as it was as well. So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it was sad to see her go. She would have excelled and done so much better in movies now and TV shows that, you know, but wouldn't, I mean, we don't know because, you know, she's not around. So, anyway, is there anything else you'd like to mention about Brittany Murphy?
No, it's just that she was gone too soon, and I think she'd be really good. If she was still alive, and she had some great movies.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our TV shows now. The first TV show we're going to talk about is Charmed. Charmed Charmed aired from 1998 to 2006. So no, we're not talking about the reboot. Let's see. No, we're not talking about the reboot, and I'm going to stop that for just a moment because Lou asked, how did she die? So I'm looking that up real quick because, let's see. There was something that said, okay. Autopsy was performed after she died. Death was accidental. Cause of death was pneumonia with secondary factors of severe iron deficiency anemia and multiple drug intoxication.
Yeah, I got that too. Los Angeles Fire Department responded to a medical request at the Los Angeles home Murphy and Maya Jack shared. She had approximately collapsed in her bathroom.
So anyway, the coroner found a range of over-the-drug and prescription medications in her system, with the most likely reason being to treat a cold or respiratory infection. These included elevated levels of hydrocodone, acetaminophen, L-methamphetamine, and chlorpheniramine, whatever, which were all legal, but she accidentally overdosed. So
wow.
that's what had happened to her. So anyway, back to Charmed. Yeah, I'm not talking about the reboot. I think the reboot sucks. I saw the first episode of it. Different storyline, different everything. I don't like the reboot. So we're definitely talking about the original. And this show was rated 7 out of 10, so it had a really good rating. Which I hope so, because they were on for 8 seasons with 178 episodes. They, I mean, you have three sisters who find out that they're witches when their grandma dies, their mom's already dead, so they find out who they really are. Then one of the sisters dies. Then they bring in a long lost sister that they found out that it's a half sister, and then they go and battle evil beings. So I mean, and they live as sisters, and they live as a wife. One of them lives as a wife and a mother, and I mean, in my opinion, it's a really good show. I mean. Some people would label it as a female show, and originally it probably would be, but I mean, they have some really good casting in there, and I really enjoy it. And it sucked that it ended, but I say this every time, with TV shows. there's a point it's got to end, because if it doesn't, it's going to get long, and drawn out, and boring. And then you'd have to hear, Dragon Viper's opinion that something else is boring and dumb. And
but at the same time, too, there's those fans, that either just caught on to it or have been there since the beginning, are like, why did it end? I'm so upset, And then after it ends, you're like, yeah, it kind of, like you're saying, overstayed its welcome, and I'm glad it ended.
Well, the thing that I don't understand, and it goes along with Sons of Anarchy. The thing that I don't understand is they set it up like Charmed. They set it up to where it looks like that there may be a reboot of the show. I mean, there's some shows that shouldn't have a reboot. And what I mean by reboot is a continuing on in the family legacy. You have Sons of Anarchy with the, when Jax dies and his kids got the ring that, Jax had given him. And, I mean, are the kids going to grow up and be with the Sons of Anarchy motorcycle club, even though they're taken off, and what happens to the club after that, kind of thing. Well, with Charmed, you have you have the sons and the daughters, and you have the characters getting, the main three, female characters getting married, having kids. Okay, at the very end, the very last 5 minutes of the show, you see the older the sons that are older that are doing magic and stuff like that. Like there's going to be, a second, like a reboot, like a second generation type thing. And there was even a rumor when the final season came out and that final episode came out that they were supposed to have something like that they were supposed to have, a reboot, a second generation type Charm thing about the kids, and have the actual actors who played the sons, be in it. But that never came to be. And then, of course, now you have 2021. They have a reboot that makes no sense, that is just stupid, that shouldn't even be done.
Well, I mean, didn't they do a reboot, or going to do a reboot of The Sopranos? Kind of like what you're saying.
I don't know. I didn't watch The Sopranos, but I mean, if they set it up, and this is for any TV show, if they set it up to where you have like a second generation, or like just like Charmed, Sons of Anarchy, I mean, and not so far apart in time too, like, go from we'll say Boy Meets World. Okay, Boy Meets World, they leave to New York City, and then all of a sudden you have a huge time gap, and then they do Girl Meets World. Granted, they have the same characters in from Boy Meets World, which that made it helpful. But then you have like Charmed that's rebooted in 2021. That makes no sense to the original show. No characters, no nothing. So, why didn't they do a second generation? Why do they have to do a reboot with a completely new cast, completely, new ideas and new stories and everything else, when they could have taken that time and energy and made a second generation? It's like Kurt Sutter with Sons of Anarchy. He's going off. He's, making a reboot of the Mayans. The Mayans didn't do too well. Now he's talking about doing another type of reboot. I can't remember which one it was. I think it's the original 8 of that show. He's talking about doing an original 8 series. Why don't you do the original? If I were to talk to Kurt Sutter about this, who's the producer, director, all that for Sons of Anarchy, I'd be like, hey, why don't you go and why don't you do the original 8 like you want to, but then do a second generation. Jax's kids have, especially the oldest, knows about this motorcycle club or starts to find out about this motorcycle club, things like that. Why don't you do that? And it's like I want to tell the director and writers for Charmed, don't do a reboot unless you're going to do like a second generation.
Yeah.
And brothers and cousins, do it that way. Don't. So anyway, that was a Dragon Viper rant. Sorry, didn't mean to get into that.
Hey, but it kind of goes along with what you're talking about. I mean, it's all good.
But anyway, so back to Charmed. Here's a few facts about Charmed. The person. Okay, people who are really famous on set are the ones that originally get the most fan mail. You had the characters Piper, Paige, Phoebe, and I'm forgetting one, obviously. Let's see. Oh, Prue. Oh, yeah, the one that causes problems backstage. But anyway, you had all 4 of those that were really, really big on the show, but the only one that was getting the most fan mail was their on-screen mom. The actress that played their on-screen mom was actually getting more fan mail, and she was one of the ones that was in the least amount of episodes in the show.
Oh, really?
Throughout, she was on all 8 seasons, or 7, I think 8. But she was in the fewest episodes of all of them, and she was the one getting most fan mail.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and why I said Prue being the controversial one, Shannon, I can never pronounce her name right. Shannon Doherty. I can't pronounce her name right. But anyway, she left the show after the 3rd season because she got into a fight with Alyssa Milano backstage about creative control. And
that's always the issue.
Yeah, well, actually it is. When some people leave, it's because of either creative control or money. Right. And I believe money was the second reason why they pretty much kicked her off the show. It was either they kicked her off the show or she left, but I believe it was them kicking her off the show because she was causing too much problems backstage. So they got rid of her, and that's when they brought in what's her face, who played Paige. But anyway, there was an acting part on the first season who was Inspector Trudeau, which was played by Ted King. There were 3 people in that show that tried for that part first. And it was Brian Krause, who played Leo on the show, Julian McMahon, who played Cole, which I'm going to say now, Cole was my absolute favorite actor on there. Favorite character as Cole, Julian did an amazing job in that acting spot. And then Kurt Smith, who played Agent Brody in the show. They all auditioned, but Ted King ended up getting that role, which I'm glad they didn't, because Brian Krause as Leo, amazing. I really liked him. He was the good guy, my favorite good guy on there. And then Julian McMahon, who played Cole, he was my favorite bad guy on there. So I'm glad they didn't get that part in that show. And then according to Aaron Spelling, who was the head director, I believe. Yeah, he was the director. before he passed away, he after the first 2 episodes, he decided to extend it. He decided to extend the full season of 22 episodes because they weren't sure how it was going to play out, how it was going to do. So Aaron Spelling's like, you know what? No, this is going to be a fantastic show. First season, we're going to have 22 episodes. And then it just went on from there for 7 more seasons after that. Rose McGowan, the one that played Paige on the show, she was only supposed to be on for 2 seasons, but they liked what she was doing on the show and liked how well she was acting on there. So they decided to keep her from season 4 on to season 8, the end of season 8.
Wow.
And then Cole, played by Julian McMahon, he was only supposed to be on for like 7 episodes. He was only supposed to be on 7 episodes, and that was it. But because the producers and director really liked him, they decided to keep him on there as a normal until season 7 is when he no longer was on there. I think he was on 1 episode after that, and that was it. But yeah, he was only supposed to be on for 7 episodes. He ended up being on for like 3 seasons. So, here's an interesting thing about the show too. It originally claimed that it was in San Francisco. You had the Golden Gate Bridge being shown. You had, San Francisco houses being shown, but in reality, it was shot in L.A. So it's pretty interesting how Hollywood can say it's from the shows on in one city, and then it goes and in reality it's in another.
Yeah.
And then the only person to end up on every single episode of the show was Holly Marie Combs, who played Piper on that show. She was the only one out of everybody on that cast to actually be playing in every single episode. So, and then finally, the last fact about this show, their spell book, the Book of Shadows, it actually weighed 9 pounds and 6 ounces, and it was the most valuable prop on set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was amazing that out of everything that they had, that book was the most valuable thing they had. So,
oh, wow.
And you know what? We were going to go to another TV show, but I think we're pretty much running low on time there.
We can save it for next week.
Yeah, we will go ahead and save it for next week. I think I went on too much of a rant today.
It's okay. It's okay.
But we will go ahead and save it for next week. And I'm gonna start every week, or end the show every week by just saying, if you guys want to hear about certain people, because I don't want to pick, who I like, and I don't want to pick who, every week on who Chris likes. I like, to know what all you guys like, so that, we could talk about them, whether I like the actor or actress or not, or the TV show or not, so put comments, message us, whatever, just let us know if there's somebody or some show you want to hear, let us know. And then we'll talk about it, whether, we like it or not.
Yeah.
I'm tired of just talking about shows and actors and actresses that I like, because obviously I didn't like Owen Wilson and I still talked about him. So just give us your inputs and we'll talk about whoever you'd like or whatever show you like. So, Chris, you have 45 seconds. Say what you like.
Thank you guys for watching, interacting with the show. Without you guys you guys have good input. We do too, but we like to hear from the fans. So thank you guys for that. Make sure to tune into Sportsman tonight, talking, random sports and, all things sports. So make sure to tune in for that. And then tomorrow we have Morning Tailgate and Between the Ropes. So tune in to Coast and Coast.
All right. Thank you, Chris. And again, I want to thank you, William and Joe and, Lou for commenting. We do like your comments and continue to comment after the show ends, And, again, input what you want to hear because it's not us watching, it's you guys. So we want to, talk about actors and actresses that you guys like or want to hear about. So, and other than that, I hope everybody has a good day, and we'll see y'all on Entertainment Hour next Saturday, same time. Later.